Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host of the most Bridge Nation here today to give you the latest update on the Chelsea transfer news. Make sure as you're coming in to like, share, and subscribe. Now, I know you're very surprised. Obviously, it's a regular video, no live stream today. Bit busy today, so I thought I'd give you at least a nice little 10-minute refresher video. What? Because I'm not doing a stream today. So let's talk about some of the current news as of 4:27 p.m. UK time. So let's actually get into it. First things first, let's talk about some news that came out yesterday, which I was not available for, which is of course the fact that Hato is set to come to Chelsea Football Club for around about 40 million euros plus add-ons, and that's been confirmed by multiple sources. I think David Ornstein himself has also reported it's around about 35.5 million plus add-ons for the player. Now, I know we've been chasing this guy for around about 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, and we've finally been able to get that through the door. Again, he's a guy that we desperately needed in the sense that we've always wanted backup for Mark Cucurella. This is a good, viable solution for Cucurella's backup. We needed him for quite a while. We've known we wanted him for quite a while. So this is something that I look at and I'm like, damn, good thing that it's been done. Again, technically solid on the ball. Technically solid, which I said spoken about. Good with the ball. Can move around quite well. Can also play centre back if needed. Of course, we know how injury prone some of our centre backs are. So it's always good to have someone that can also play in that position as well, which is very key. But again, a much needed backup for Marco Correa has played consistently for us. And I think a well worthy backup, a guy that, again, has bags of potential that we can, can hopefully push on and reach the stars with us at this football club as well. Now, the next topic I do want to talk about, this actually just come out in the last 10 minutes, so I thought I'd just speak about it. Mark Guiu is set to go on a straight loan, obviously, to Sunderland. I'm actually quite happy about this in the sense that, of course, Sunderland obviously is going to be a side that's going to be competing to not be relegated. I think they've obviously done some good acquisitions. Granit Xhaka just recently, of course, some of the other signings they've got in are quite decent as well. I think for him, this is a place where he can hopefully compete, get play some starting football on a consistent basis. I know for at least Chelsea perspective that we've not been able to have our players when they come for Premier League teams play regular football. Andre Santos is a good example of that, of course, in recent memory. So I'm hoping at Sunderland he does get regular game time, play some level of consistent football because I do believe, man, he's a good player, and I'd like to see him on his progress and get a better man. Again, one of the things I always talk about here is that when you're trying to buy so many of these talents, bro, you want to get some guys that are able to push through, and I think Gui can be one of those guys. Hopefully, he had some good moments in the Conference League when he played. Even though some moments, I know, obviously, I think it's the game against Wolves or the January 31st game. I know it's the last day of transfer window, in particular where he came on, where he had a really good, burst, a burst on the scene in terms of like the 45 minutes he played. So again, for me personally, I hope this loan goes well for him and he improves as a player at the end of the day. So I look forward to seeing what he does there at the end of the day. In other news also that's come out today, Kendry Paez has officially had his loan confirmed to, of course, none other than Strasbourg. Again, Strasbourg, man, I feel like, it's going under the radar. I think they're acquiring good players, obviously not just from us in terms of obviously Penders, Paez, and Mamadou Sarr, who's just gone back to them, but they've obviously got Oyedeli from the Polish club that we've faced recently. He's a former United Academy player. They're actually trying to buy a Danish centre back right now that I just saw that they've had a bit rejected for. He's a very talented centre back. They've already got good quality in there as well. Nanase, Diego Moreira, Barco, and I think his name is Benanshaw or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, who is really decent too. But oh my goodness me, they have added adequately, and I think for me at the end of the day, that is what I'm looking for from Strasbourg in terms of them hopefully improving and becoming a better squad. So listen, I look forward to seeing Strasbourg as I was watching them last season as well. But Paez, I think this is a big learn for him. I know last year he didn't play that much football. I think again, for some people, they've been calling the fact that he's fallen off a bit. But again, he's a young player. I really think he's still a talented wonder kid. I still have high hopes for his future. And again, Strasbourg is the team to make that happen. It's a side full of young talent. You've got a good manager that's going to help you, push you on, hopefully help you to develop as well as a player. And I think for me, man, Ligue 1 is the best league to be at, particularly for young talent if you want to develop and shine. So he's in the right place, and I hope he can, actually get back on track. I think is the right word to use when it comes to Kendry Paez. Now, another big breaking news that's come out today is in regards to Garnacho. Now, I know, listen, many people do not want Garnacho. You don't know what the reality is. I think a lot of us are not even happy about him coming to the club in general. But the fact of the matter is that it's looking like that is the case. Matt Law obviously just did an article just talking about a bunch of things related to Garnacho. We're going to discuss Simmons in a little while as well. But there's a bunch of other stuff we're going to discuss as well, including to that. But he did mention, obviously, that the fact that the club have done background checks on Garnacho and it's gone well. Which, I have to say, man, I don't know how he's done that one, Jeff. You know what I mean? I don't know how he's done that one, Jeff, but it's crazy how apparently his background check has passed, and he's also expecting Chelsea to come in. Chelsea are expected to come in a bid, and they may wait until obviously they get their striker before they come pouncing in Chelsea. And again, this is something I said before. The more than likelihood about but Garnacho is as follows. We do a Sancho deal actually, where it's a loan obligation to buy for the £30 million that United want, or the club actually negotiates a deal around about 30 million for Garnacho. And I think that probably will happen either in the last week or like the second to last week of the transfer window. So I think it's going to be like until mid-August or like when the first week or like second week of the Premier League season when we will see Garnacho, deals happening at the football club. So again, one to watch, one to think about. Sadly, that's going to be happening at the end of the day. And finally, I thought I'd give you a quick update on Simons. Obviously, that deal is still progressing, still going, it seems. I think what is kind of happening, this is what it seems like to me. The club is trying to do this thing of like, the RB Leipzig clearly want a player from us. They're trying to get that side of the deal done. I would assume that the Xavi Simons deal side of the deal is kind of somewhat, understood what's needed and what's going to happen. And both sides know they can get that situation done. But it's just about who's going from Chelsea to RB Leipzig. Because I think RB Leipzig clearly want a player from us. I think it's just about finding that player that wants to go to RB Leipzig and then negotiating a deal to make that happen. That's what I think is really stalling the Xavi Simons deal. And actually, Matt Law, before I leave the stream, apologies for not looking at the camera if I remember, but he actually brings up a key comment here, actually, rather quickly, that I thought was kind of interesting, that Leipzig are interested in Armando Broja, Tariq George, and Carlin Chukwuemeka, right? So obviously, those are the three that they're looking at. Whether who they get out of the three is going to be obviously interesting to see if any of those three happen, or if there's another fourth player, because I know it was reported recently that they've also just inquired to Chelsea. RB Leipzig have inquired to Chelsea about not other than Christopher Nkunku, right? So maybe they go for Mr. Nkunku. And again, that literally is a clear one out, one in policy, right? So you're losing Nkunku, you're bringing Xavi Simons. So I think for me, we just have to see how that plays out. But I do think Xavi Simons, that deal probably has to be completed end of the week or early next week, in the first week, either Monday or Tuesday, because as you guys know, pre-season is going to be starting for Chelsea on Monday. Guys, I know it's kind of crazy to say, but the Community Shield is already next week, Saturday or Sunday. So one of those 2 days, Saturday or Sunday. So listen, the league is already starting in 2 weeks. So listen, big things happening, big games are happening. So listen, we need to, I think, obviously, in terms of transfers and stuff, whatever remaining income is you're going to be getting, obviously, Garnacho is the last one that's going to happen at the very, very end. Stuff needs to start happening here quickly and effectively as possible. So that's all it is. That's the video. Hope you like the stream. I hope people like the video, I should say, not the stream. I'm so used to streaming too much. But make sure as you're coming in again to like, share, subscribe. Helps me out. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers. Please do so. We are out. Bridge Nation out. Tuchel out, as I like to say for fun. And peace.